All right, so get this. Denzel Washington, the guy, who can just captivate an entire audience with just a look, he also has some seriously motivating words to share. And we're not talking like acting tips here.
It's true. He's become like this source of inspiration that goes way beyond the screen.
Totally.
What's remarkable, I think, is how Denzel's own journey, like his willingness to confront those challenges head on, it really resonates with people.
You hit the nail on the head. And, you sent us this article breaking down his whole philosophy. And honestly, it's got me fired up. It's all about risk, failure, perseverance, the kind of stuff that applies whether you're going for an Oscar or just trying to navigate Monday morning.
Absolutely. It's about, embracing those moments of uncertainty, those leaps of faith that kind of push us outside our comfort zones. Interestingly, there's a scientific basis for this.
Oh, really? Do tell.
So taking risks, it actually triggers the reward system in our brains,
Okay.
making those big wins feel even sweeter.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like our biology is wired to crave that sense of accomplishment
Yeah.
that comes with venturing into the unknown.
So it's not just about being bold, it's literally how our brains are wired.
Right.
But hold on, isn't there a risk of, leaping before you look?
Right. That's where the importance of calculated risks comes in.
Okay.
Daniel Kahneman, a Nobel Prize-winning psychologist,
Of course.
talks about this in his work on decision-making. He argues that we humans are naturally loss-averse, so we feel the pain of a loss more strongly than we feel the joy of, like, an equivalent gain. So we have to weigh those potential downsides against those possible gains, not just blindly jump into the unknown.
So it's about being strategic with those risks.
Yeah.
Like not betting the entire farm on one hand of cards.
Exactly. Take Steve Jobs, for instance, the man who practically, put a computer in everyone's pocket.
Right.
Even he took a calculated risk when he left Apple,
Right.
a company that he helped build from the ground up. But he used that time to learn, refine his vision, and it ultimately led to his triumphant return and Apple's incredible success.
Now, that's a comeback story for the ages. And what's interesting? This whole idea of taking risks, it's not limited to the tech world. Think about Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, yeah.
She was already a household name with her talk show.
Right.
But launching her own network, OWN, that was a huge leap.
Huge. You're right. It applies across the board. Oprah could have easily played it safe, right?
Yay.
But she chose to dive into uncharted territory. And that willingness to venture outside your comfort zone, regardless of the industry, that's a hallmark of Denzel's message.
It takes guts, that's for sure. But even with the best laid plans, things don't always go smoothly, right?
Right.
Which brings us to another big point Denzel emphasizes, embracing failure. And what I love is that he doesn't just talk about it. He owns his own experiences,
And that's crucial, right? Because it makes his message so relatable. He's not speaking from some untouchable pedestal. He's been there, faced those setbacks, and come out stronger. This aligns perfectly with psychologist Carol Dweck's research on growth mindset. The idea that viewing failures as learning opportunities leads to greater success in the long run.
He's like, look, I've been through it too. You can learn from it. Like, it's not just some motivational poster,
Exactly, yeah. It reminds me of the classic Thomas Edison quote about the light bulb, right?
Yeah.
I haven't failed, he says. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work.
Right. Huh.
Each attempt, even the ones that didn't work, brought him closer to that goal.
I bet Denzel has that quote framed on his wall somewhere. But Edison's story and Denzel's own journey, it highlights that crucial element of perseverance. Sticking with it when things get tough.
Yeah, and you can't talk about perseverance without talking about passion, right?
Right.
It's the engine that keeps you going, especially when those initial bursts of motivation fade away.
Yeah.
Look at Elon Musk and SpaceX.
Oh, yeah. Good. Exactly.
Launching rockets into space. I mean, that's not for the faint of heart.
No.
There were explosions, setbacks, technical hurdles galore.
For sure.
But his, unwavering passion for space exploration, for pushing those boundaries, that's what fueled his perseverance.
That's the difference between a sprint and a marathon. Passion is the stamina.
Exactly. Denzel often points to Nelson Mandela as a shining example of this. Can you imagine the strength it took to endure 27 years in prison?
Oh my gosh.
Yet to emerge with a spirit unbroken, with his vision for a free South Africa still just burning bright.
It gives me chills just thinking about it.
Yeah.
And what's so effective about how Denzel conveys this message? His use of stories. He's not just preaching, He's sharing relatable experiences.
Absolutely. He's grounding it in reality.
Yeah.
Whether he's talking about Mandela or, Jackie Robinson breaking barriers in
All
baseball.
right.
These stories resonate deeply because they tap into something like fundamental about how we learn and connect as human beings.
Yeah.
We're hardwired to respond to narratives. We're wired to find meaning in other people's journeys.
It's like that old saying, people won't always remember what you said, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. And Denzel's words, with those powerful stories woven in, it leaves a lasting impact.
Couldn't agree more. And while he often speaks directly to young people,
Right.
this message has a universality that transcends generations.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's never too late to embrace a growth mindset,
Yeah.
to find that inspiration in the face of setbacks.
I love that.
Yeah,
Like, we all need a little Denzel wisdom in our lives, no matter what stage we're at.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And, mentorship plays a huge role in this as well.
Oh, yeah.
Having someone who's been there, who can offer guidance and support, it makes all the difference. Programs like Yes We Can, which empower youth through education and mentorship, are a testament to this. Creating that nurturing environment where young people can, truly realize their potential.
It's about fostering that belief in oneself, that sense of possibility. But, the article did bring up some counterpoints to this whole embrace risk and, fail forward mentality. And it's something we should address because, let's face it, not everyone bounces back from setbacks in the same way.
That's a very, very valid point. Privilege or the lack thereof plays a significant role. If you're from a disadvantaged background, the consequences of those risks not panning out, they can be much higher. That safety net Denzel talks about,
Right.
it's not always there.
Yeah, it's like walking a tightrope without a net below.
Yeah.
And that pressure to always hustle, take risks, even when you're feeling vulnerable. I mean, it can be exhausting, even damaging.
Right, you have to be mindful of those potential downsides.
Yeah.
It highlights the importance of context.
Yeah.
Denzel's message is powerful, but it's not like one size fits all.
Right, right.
It's about taking those core principles, the courage to take risks, the resilience to bounce back from failure, and really applying them to your own unique circumstances, right?
Yeah.
What works for a Steve Jobs or Oprah, that might look totally different for someone just starting out
For sure.
or for someone who's, facing different sorts of challenges in their life.
It's about taking ownership of your own journey,
Yes.
figuring out what risks you're actually comfortable with,
Right.
what failures you can learn from,
Absolutely.
and what kind of support system you need to thrive.
Exactly. It's about
Right.
asking yourself, okay, what are my values? What are my goals? And how can I use these principles in a way that feels authentic and achievable for me?
It's like taking the wisdom and kind of creating your own recipe, your own personal recipe for success.
I love that analogy because it's not about, just blindly following someone else's path. It's about, like you said, taking those key ingredients, the courage, the resilience, the passion,
Yes.
and making it work for you.
And that's what makes this whole conversation so great. It's not about just like, here's Denzel's philosophy, It's about like unpacking it,
Right.
exploring those nuances, and helping our listener figure out like, what does this actually mean?
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, it's not about becoming Denzel Washington, right?
Right.
It's about becoming the best, most courageous, most resilient version of yourself.
So well said. And I think for our listener, the big takeaway here is this. Denzel's words are kind of a call to action,
Yes.
an invitation to step outside our comfort zones, embrace the unknown.
And to remember that even those small steps, right?
Yeah.
Those little seemingly insignificant acts of courage,
Yeah.
they can have a ripple effect,
Totally.
leading to incredible growth and unexpected rewards.
I love it. So as we wrap up this deep dive, we'll leave you with this. What's one small risk you've been putting off? One step outside that comfort zone that you're ready to take? It just might be the start of something amazing.